Welcome to The Price of Business. Hope you're having a great evening. Glad to be with you here on today's program. Do want to remind you we got some great content from our media partners over at Bloomberg.com. Make sure you check that out over at priceofbusiness.com. But right now, I'm going to go straight to my good friend Walter Rogers. He's a regular contributor on this program. Has been now going on 2 years, keeping my audience in the know when it comes to what's going on with customer relations management, best practices, and sales. I mean, you guys are extraordinary in all of these areas. Good to have you on the show, my friend.
Hey, thanks for having me back, Kevin. I love it, and I love the music. I love the intro.
Hey, I was going to ask you about that. You know, I have days where it's like, that's just silly, but I get nothing but positive feedback from it. Thanks a lot. I appreciate that. Hey, let's talk about, you know, something that's getting positive feedback and something that I saw creating buzz at Dreamforce as I talked to people about it. It's your new book. Why don't you jump right in about that?
Yeah, you know what? And I'm just going to actually jump to the inside cover of that book, and it's a quote that I just love. It's so inspirational, Kevin, and it is, failure isn't fatal, but failure to change can be. Failure isn't fatal, but failure to change can be. That's a quote by John Wooden, who is, of course, just a phenomenal coach. I mean, the guy was an absolute winner. And one of the reasons that most companies fail to try new things is because they're afraid of failure. Right? But in today's world, if you don't stay ahead of change, your likelihood of success is not good.
No.
And the pace of change is only increasing. And that's inspiration behind Spark. And as you know, you and I talked about a whole variety of best practices when we first started our broadcast almost 2 years ago. And over the last 18 to 24 months, we've been working on this book. And it is a encapsulation of all of these best practices that we've learned over the last couple of years to really help a company leverage their customer relationship management system as their corporate nervous system and not a sales accounting platform.
Well, it really is a logical extension of what you've done on the radio show.
It really is, Kevin. Yeah, and it's so exciting to finally watch the book come out and all the excitement that people at Dreamforce had around it. The 11 best practices, we've talked about it in a number of breakout sessions. And, the fundamental premise of the book is that, there's a lot of buzz about this whole concept around Sales 2.0 and the revolution around Sales 2.0. But most of the buzz centers around technology. And while technology is an enablement tool for Sales 2.0, to really achieve new sales behavior, you have to change behavior.
Yeah.
If you want to transform the way in which your company operates, you've got to change the behavior. The tools are just tools. If you don't focus on how the tools can help impact the behavior, you're not going to leverage the value of the tool.
No question about it. You know what I love about your book is that you make something that people collectively yawn at, customer relations management, kind of a necessary evil, very relevant. And you do it in a way that translates well to everyone, no matter what level they're in business, including the CEO who sees that, well, that's the thing we have to do to keep customers. But you make it dynamic.
Well, we really tried to focus this book on the business application of CRM, not the technology aspect. Most of the books that you read are really focused around the features and functions and, the speeds and feeds and, the various technology features that are associated with, Sales 2.0. And, at the end of the day, the technology is intended to impact business process and the way in which people behave. And that's really been the focus of our practice and the focus of the book.
What's interesting is I think you really hit the nail on the head, if you would, of the differentiation. There's been a lot of technology when it comes to customer relations management. You can go back to ACT and all the other things that's been out there even before it moved to the cloud, if you will. But there had not been a lot of information out there on how cultures need to change in order to make the most of it. That's what you're trying to do.
That's really been our exclusive focus for almost 5 years now. I mean, working with some of the world's largest companies that are implementing Salesforce.com, for example, has been an eye-opening experience for us. And, we've earned a lot of scar tissue along the way, and all of the learnings that we've had over the last 5 or so years are now applied in Spark and brought to life in Spark in a practical way where, readers can actually take immediate action and see an impact on their business.
Yeah, I want to mention I really loved the book and actually did a review on it over at usdailyreview.com. That's usdailyreview.com. Just put in the word Spark in the search engine. That article will pop up. And I again, I'm pretty smart when it comes to business because I've been talking to great business minds like yours for a decade. But I was excited by the fact that, again, you took something that people kind of treat as mundane and made it very powerful and really made it something that I think is going to become on the forefront of many business owners' minds.
Well, it's a mission for us. We really want to help companies improve the way in which they operate. And in these days, it's do or die. You don't have an option to change or not change anymore. You have to change, you have to transform, and you have to do it quickly. And so why not share the learnings that we picked up along the way to help companies do it faster, cheaper, better than they could if they just try to figure it out on their own. And that's what Spark is all about. And there's 11 best practices. They're very straightforward. Even if you implement just half of them, you're going to have a massive impact on your business.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's going to have a huge shift. How do people get a copy of Spark?
Well, people can get a copy of Spark by going to our website, www.bakercommunications.com/Spark. And there'll be a page for them to be able to request a download of the book. And we're excited to distribute it. As you know, we distributed almost 1,000 copies at the Salesforce.com premier cloud computing event about 2 weeks ago in San Francisco. Of course, you were there at Dreamforce, and the reception was extremely positive.
Yeah, no question about it. I literally saw people walking around through the halls with their heads in the book. And, they, of course, were running into other people. But you know what? I'm glad they were at least enjoying it. I thought it was fantastic. I really appreciate you talking about it. And I really appreciate you taking a subject that, again, is kind of daunting, something that seems to marginalize or be marginal in terms of the way people treat it, and make it important to the general business population.
Well, it's critically important. And over the next several weeks, Kevin, we're going to be working with you to break down the components of Spark. There's 11 best practices, and we're going to talk about them all over the next coming weeks.
And I think our video is just about complete from Dreamforce. That's my understanding from Anthony in your office. And so we're going to start doing special segments from that, both at priceofbusiness.com and here on the radio show. So we got a lot of great content. You're going to get extra doses of Walter in the weeks to come. Walter Rogers, BakerCommunications.com. Phone number real quick.
Yeah, 713-627-7700. That's 713-627-7700.
Thanks so much, Walter.
Thank you, Kevin.
Great stuff.
Thanks for having me on the show.
As always. All right, when we come back, we're going to have a lot more for you, so stay tuned to The Price of Business.